Hello, everybody. Happy Friday and welcome. Melanie here from Mel's Inky Fingers. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to give everyone just a couple of minutes to find me and then make sure that I'm live in the right place. When you jump on, say hello. Let me know you're here. It's nice to know who I'm chatting with. And it looks like I'm good. So I'm in the right place and you should be able to hear me. So hello, happy Friday, welcome. Today we are going to make these really cute cards featuring the Simply Sparkling bundle. Now you may be wondering where to find this because you may not have seen it. This is actually from the Stampin' Up online exclusives, which you can only find in my online store. So you are not going to find this in any of the Stampin' Up catalogs. So happy Friday and welcome. When you jump on, please say hello. Let me know you're here. It's always nice to know who is joining me. So I'm going to give everyone just a minute to find me. Hello, hello. So I'm just going to write a couple of things down here. When you jump on, say hello. Let me know you're here. Happy Friday, and thanks for joining me, everyone. I'm not going to wait too much longer. I think that we'll jump in and get started. So just a couple of announcements today. As a reminder, celebration is underway. That means that you can earn free items with your purchase. There is no limit to what you can earn. Isn't that amazing? And who does not like to get something free when they shop? So this celebration brochure is jam-packed full of really amazing and adorable projects that you can create when you earn the celebration products free. So you get to choose an item with each $50 that you purchase in products. There is no limit to what you can earn. And if your total hits $100 or more, there are actually $100 items that you may choose, which are bigger. And it's really fun to create with these. Some of these items coordinate with products in the mini catalog. Some of them, for example, this Jungle Pals stamp set has a coordinating Jungle Pals dies. You can get this entire bundle free just for shopping. Now, if your order is at least $150, you not only get celebration items, but you also get host rewards out of the catalog. So you get even more free product. So this is a really great time to do things like renew your Paper Pumpkin subscription, treat yourself to a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, add ink pads or Stampin' Blends to your color collection, stock up on basics like adhesive, envelopes, cardstock. So good time to kind of do some of those things. The mini catalog is well underway. It's absolutely amazing. If you have not yet taken time to go through it, please do. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And if you're a customer of mine and you did not receive your catalogs, please let me know so I can get a new one out to you. All right. Okay. Second of all, my events page has several events on it. The next one is going to be January 24th. We're going to be making Valentine's projects. That class has two different sessions. There's a day session at 10 a.m. or an evening session at 7 p.m. If you would like additional details, hop on over to my blog at melsinkyfingers.com and check out the details and RSVP. I'm also doing game night. Game night is always so fun. It's such a look forward to night by so many, and that's going to be on February 10th. The RSVP deadline is I think like the 28th or so. So it's coming up. If you would like to join me, don't forget to RSVP for that as well. All right. And I'm just going to wipe this off. Look how amazing this is. This is our new glass mat that you can earn right now if you join my Stampin' Up team. It is a free gift that you get with your starter kit during the months of January and February only. And not only do you get this amazing mat, but you get this really cool cloth to clean it with. And you also get this silicone mat, which you can keep your wet cloth on, or you can mix ink on it. It will hold your ink pads or your tools so they don't roll away and you can find them easily. I'm loving this. I hope in the future I can get one for my other creative space because this is where I record, but I really want one for in my stamping studio. Hi, Debbie, welcome. Yes, the cloth is awesome, isn't it? I love this cloth. I don't know what it is about it, but it's soft and it works so well. And I've been using this glass mat for so many things. We talked a little bit about this when we had our January team meeting. We talked about all the different ways that we've been enjoying using this for stamping off, for putting adhesive on our projects. The adhesive doesn't stick very good to this, which makes it a great work surface. It's good for so many things, and we've really been enjoying it. So I hope if you're on the fence or if you have a really long wish list, grab that starter kit because you can get this free. Now, if this mat isn't your gig, that's okay, because if you choose to get the starter kit, you could also choose an additional $30 in product as an alternative. So either more product or this amazing mat. All right. So today we are going to create with this adorable Simply Sparkling bundle. Now this bundle cannot be found in any of the Stampin' Up catalogs. This is part of our online exclusive collection that you can only find in my online store. Stampin' Up releases a whole collection of products each quarter. The next one is due, I believe, in March. So this, I've been eyeing this on my shelf for a while and hadn't busted it out. And oh my gosh, it is so cute. Look at these projects. Aren't they the cutest? I'm so excited to share these with you today. So this stamp and die bundle creates, I mean, you could just make so many things out of this between the pop can and all the different fruits and these adorable little sentiments. So many dies. I think the sky is the limit. And I was looking at this and thinking how adorable these bubbles would be paired with the Cradled in Love stamp set, which is one of the celebration items. Let me show you that stamp set. Look how cute this is. Because I thought it would make such a cute little like bathtub. Like if you cut this off, you could make this look like a little bathtub with all the little bubbles, like bubble bath. Anyway, think outside the box, right? So I may have to try that next. So this is what we're going to make today. So let's start by making our extra bubbly birthday wishes card. I thought this was a really cute birthday card for a sweet friend. And we are going to use a ton of the dies and pretty much all of the stamps in today's projects. So to create this card, we are going to need a few things. So let's take a look. We are going to need a thick basic white card base that is cut 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I've scored it in half at 5 1/2 inches. You could change out the color if you wanted. Then you are going to need a piece of basic white that's cut 3 3/4 by 5, and you're going to emboss that layer. Now I have used, I forget the name of this embossing folder. It is from the annual catalog, and it coordinates with a bundle that is in the annual catalog that I also love. In fact, as I look up, I have several of the projects just sitting here in my display that I've had out for a while because I love them so much. I'm looking for, it is right here. It's called Sweet Citrus, and it comes paired with the die set because this is one of those fancy dancy hybrid embossing folders where you can drop the dies in it and it will cut out some of the citrus shapes or you can use it to just emboss your background. Isn't that fun? I made grapefruit, limes. You can make lemons, limes, grapefruit, oranges. I mean, all the citrus foods. So cute. But I made just a plain white background for this project. And actually, when I made this card, I added a little bit of yellow to the background. I'm going to add a little bit here, but it's going to make these little citrus, embossed citrus areas kind of pop. So it's going to look a little bit different. I tried to do a few of the steps ahead of time today, so you weren't watching me die cut a lot of things. Then you're going to need a scrap of lemon lolly to create your pop can, and I did pre-cut that so that we have that ready to go. You will want a scrap of holographic paper or silver foil or foil of some sort to create the lid and the base of the can. A couple of different colors for whatever fruit you decide to use, and I decided to make lemons on this one. So I chose Daffodil Delight and some Parakeet Party, and those are scraps for die cutting the fruit, and I did already cut out some of the lemons. And then you'll want a piece of a window sheet because I cut out some bubbles. Isn't that fun? Look how fun that is to just create those connected bubbles that you can then add to do fun things. And then a label for your sentiment. Now this particular label has come from this lovely, it's called Lovely and Sweet Dies. This is from one of the new suites in the annual catalog. It's like a mega suite. It's called Nature Sweetness. It's on page 40. And it comes with all these things. And I love that little label because I thought it worked really well. It kind of looked like a pop can label, I thought. So initially I was thinking of wrapping it around. I thought, oh, that fits just perfect where I could fold these tabs to the back and wrap it around. But I actually decided I really liked the little detail that it added. So I left it. But that's what die set that is from. Then we're going to use 3 inks today. We're going to use Lemon Lolly, Granny Apple Green, and Garden Green. Of course, you could switch these up depending on what fruit you wanted to use. If you wanted to use a different fruit, you certainly could mix up those colors. And then I have my blending brush for the yellow because I wanted to add a little bit of color to the background. And I'm going to want a block because I'm going to add a little sprinkle of color with my Wink of Stella. So let's work on this background piece first. So I'm going to take my Lemon Lolly ink, and normally I would have done this before I embossed it because I don't want the citrus detail to pop out. I really just kind of wanted a little bit of color in the background. So I'm going to go kind of light with the yellow. And if you notice, I'm just kind of rubbing the brush off on this glass mat. I'm doing that to kind of push the ink into the brush so that I don't get a big splotch of color. This glass mat is amazing for so many things. I just plunk the ink right on it and it's awesome. So once I push that ink into the brush, I don't have to worry about getting a splotch of color where I don't want it. And normally you want to start off the edge of your paper and bring it on, and you can avoid that. But when you're pushing it into the brush, it also kind of takes care of that because I want my color in the center. I don't want it coming in around the edges, if that makes sense. So now I'm just going to take my cloth and I'll just wipe that ink right off so that I don't have to worry about it getting on any of my projects. All right. Second thing I'm going to do with this background is I'm going to take some Granny Apple Green ink and I'm just going to either use a block or you can take your mat again and just put that ink right on there. And then I'm going to create some splatters on here. And so I'm just going to bring this Wink of Stella into my ink. and just shake it. Now I don't know how much paint is coming down in here, so I'll give it a little squeeze. This is a relatively new Wink of Stella, so I don't want a big giant splatter. Last time I did this, I wound up with a big huge drop. But what I'm doing is I'm creating green splatters of shimmer on my card. By putting this into the ink first, it turns it green when it comes out. So once you're done with that, you can just wipe this off. I just take my chamois, which I use to clean my stamps, and I just do this to the tip, and it pulls all that ink off, and now you're ready to be the normal colorless silver glitter again. And then I'm just going to let this dry. And then once again, because this mat's amazing, I can just wipe off all this ink that I don't want anymore. And that mat will dry just really quickly. And then I can take this and adhere it right on the back of my, or I should say on the front of my card. So let's see, we'll help that dry just really quick. There it is. So I'm going to add my adhesive on here since my splatters are still a little bit wet. I don't want to turn that upside down because I don't want those splatters to smear. But I'll just very carefully push that in place. All right, so there's our background. Our background's ready to go. Just the background is pretty. Then I'll just set that aside for a moment so that it can continue to dry. Now let's work on the elements for our card. So I pre-cut the can. I'm going to pull the dies out and do a little bit of die cutting. So we're going to need some little lemons, which I've already die cut to save a little bit of time. So I pulled out the lemon die here and die cut those. We are going to pull out the stems and die cut some stems. And then we want the tab and the lid. So we're going to die cut that, and we already did that. And then here is the die that I used with the window sheet to cut out the beautiful little bubbles. All right. So let me put these couple of things through and die cut them. This holographic paper is absolutely amazing to do the little cans with, and I use that holographic paper quite a bit. And I'm going to cut out one more set of leaves. It's another good use for your glass mat. No, I'm not angry. That's how I like to get the dies out of my... We have a nice little brush that helps your dies release your cardstock paper, but I also like to throw my die to get it out sometimes. So if that doesn't work, you can always use your take your pick tool. All right, so this die cuts the tops to multiple pieces of the fruit that are in this set. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to use. You don't necessarily have to use the same. You can mix and match them. This would also be a nice die to use some of the adhesive backed sheets with. Hi, Polly, welcome. Thanks for joining today. Hi, Audra, welcome. Thanks for joining. It's nice to have you here. So I've had to switch up my recording, and I now use my computer to see comments, and it's kind of frustrating because it doesn't allow me to see who's joining. So I apologize that I can't say hi to you. I have to look at my phone and see who is joining. Hi, Melissa, welcome. And I can see like one line on my phone, which is now recording. So it's kind of frustrating. So sorry if I don't welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. All right. So now we have our lid and our little tab and the bottom to our bottle here. We have our label, our lemons, and we have all the little bits and pieces we're going to use on this card. So you'll see how quickly it comes together now. So you can decide which of these little leaves you want to use on your lemons. I'm going to save these for strawberries, and I'm going to take the cherry ones away and use those for the 3 lemons that I'm going to add to the project. The rest of these, I just kind of slide them down in my container so that if I need them, I have them and I can see what I have. All right. So now before I start adding pieces to this bottle, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to use this stamp here to add a little detail to the can, and I'm going to do that in Lemon Lolly. This is like one of my most favorites of all the new colors that we got. So I'll stamp once that way, and then I'll turn it and stamp it once that way. And there's no right or wrong place to add that, so you can put it really anywhere you want to add a little bit of color. And then I'm going to put a tiny little bit of adhesive and add this bottom to the can. It's so cute. And then I will take this top lid and put a little tiny adhesive. I'm going to keep my adhesive kind of in the center portion because I have found that the liquid likes to come up when there's these die cut lines in there. And you have to be careful not to overdo the liquid Tombow because you really don't need much. So it's easy to use more than you need. So if you're getting a gluey mess, it means you need less. Very little Tombow. Now we're going to add our little pop tab, and I'm just going to bend this so that it gives me a little dimension. I'll put a tiny little bit of Tombow here, and then we're going to put this little tab. This is the cutest little thing ever. We're going to put that tab right there. And how adorable is this? Is that not the cutest? The detail. And I see that we're going to have another week where Facebook is going to keep kicking me off, telling me my video is done. Oh, Facebook, you are frustrating. So give me a moment here to get back to where I need to be. It's several clicks to get me back there. But if I'm not there, I can't tell what I'm doing and to answer questions. All right. So we have this. So now let's add our sentiment. So we'll want our little label. So again, this label was die cut from a different die set. I love it. And it's die cut from Basic White. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment in Garden Green. And there are a lot of sentiment choices in this stamp set. I love this little extra bubbly, but Fizztastic would be good as well. And then you have all these small little sentiments that you can use to build kind of a custom little sentiment. I think it's so cute. We're going to use the birthday wishes with the extra bubbly. So here's our extra bubbly sentiment. I'm going to ink it up and stamp it here on my white label. And I hope I didn't forget to bring a little tiny scrap of white. Let's hope it got stuck down in my envelope. And it didn't, so I need a little tiny scrap of white, and I know that I'm going to have enough for the second card, so I'm going to take a little 1/2-inch strip. So this other part of the sentiment is, I just need a little 1/2-inch strip, so let's create that. Hopefully that's big enough. And we're going to stamp again in the Garden Green ink. We're going to stamp Birthday Wishes. Now this grid is really nice because you can use it to line up your stamp and get a nice straight sentiment. But again, I'm not over my sentiment, so sometimes it makes it a little tricky when I'm on camera. All right, so that's the Garden Green. We're done with that and we can put it away now. And we're going to add this to our can. So I'll put a little bit of Stampin' Seal. I'm going to kind of add it at an angle because I'm going to put the can on the front of my card on an angle. So now let's bring our card base in. So these little splotches should be dry. We're going to add that kind of like that. This is going to fit in like this. So I'm going to trim this close. So I don't want a lot of extra space on this. It's just a nice little accent that's going to sit down in the corner. So we'll trim that. And then we're going to add all of our little lemons and our bubbles when we're done. So let's bring in some of our embellishments. So the embellishments we're going to use today are the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. If you don't have these, I don't know how you manage. I use them a ton. And then we're going to use this new Baker's Twine 3-color pack. This twine pack is from the new mini catalog and goes with the absolutely adorable Lighter Than Air bundle. It's so cute. It has coordinating designer series paper. And we're going to take this and we're going to tie a bow around our little can. In the yellow twine, and this is Lemon Lolly, so this is the same color as our cardstock is. And yes, I used Lemon Lolly ink, so it's kind of the whole color coordination. I love it. All right, so there's our bow, and then I'm going to bring this and add it to the front of my project with some dimensionals. All right, so we'll put a couple dimensionals on the back of this. And I'll add this to my project at an angle. So what do you think? Had you noticed this bundle in the online store or no? Tell me if you've noticed this. I'm just kind of tucking this behind. I'm tucking this behind my label a little bit here. There we go. Come on. There we go. Did you know the online exclusives were a thing? I think I've talked about them before, but sometimes it's easy to forget because there are so many good things. All right, so now we have the main focal point of our card there. So now we're just going to add these little accents. So we're going to take our lemons and add them to our project. I'm just adding a little adhesive, and I'm just going to put a couple here. I'm going to add this one with a dimensional. Tuck that underneath like this. And then this one will kind of go right down here, kind of in between both of the little sentiments. And then once you're happy with the placement of your lemons, you can come in and you can add your stems. So you can choose which of the stems you wanted to use on your fruit. I'm kind of mixing and matching the two different sizes here. So I'm kind of sliding the stem behind, having some of the leaves in front, some in back. And then these, you could also use, if you don't like to handle little die cuts, you could also use your little tweezers from the Embossing Editions kit if you have this. I love these. I use them a lot. And you can decide where here you want to add the other one. You can either tuck it under here or you can add it over here. I think I'm going to put this over here. I'll just kind of slide it kind of right there. Oops. What do you think? And last but not least, we're going to add our bubbles and a little straw. So somewhere here I had, I think I can still fit a little straw here. There's a little tiny straw that's so cute. Let's see if I think I can get it in there. I'm going to stamp and die cut the straw. So I'm going to stamp this in Pool Party ink on the Parakeet Party cardstock. And then there's a little die that I can cut this out. So I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And it's okay that it's a little short. I'll slide it in underneath the... You can see that it's a little bit short because I forgot to save a little bit of space. But see how it has that little notch? It's okay. I'll slide that underneath so that you can't see it. And this paper that I'm using, I like to use that on my projects to hold my dies in place. This is the Post-it 3M. It's like label and cover up tape, but it works really well. It's got like Post-it note sticky on it. And I use it to hold my dies in place so that they don't shift while I am die cutting. So let's see how this looks in here. So since I don't have a good clean way to hide that, I'll just trim the bottom off just a smidge. There we go. That'll work. And then I'll put a little bit of adhesive on there and just tuck that in here. Super cute. And then I'm going to add a few of these little bubbles. So I don't want all these bubbles coming out. So I'm just going to take my scissor and make this a little smaller by just simply cutting off the bubbles that I don't want. And this section here at the top I'm going to keep because I'll add it to the inside of the card just for something cute. And then I'm just going to add some adhesive to a little section of that and just kind of tuck it on the front of my card. Isn't that adorable? And then the last thing I'm going to do to the front is add a few of these gems to be kind of reinforce the bubbles. You can add as few or as many as you would like. There's no right or wrong answer. That's what I love. Let's do this. There we go. All right, now let's turn our attention to the inside. So inside the card, let's add our sentiment. So we have this really cute, "You're so delightful," and we have a friend stamp. So we're going to use both of those, except I'm going to take this horizontal sentiment and make it more of a vertical. So I'm going to stamp the longest portion first. So off the side of my ink pad, I'm just going to ink the "So Delightful" and kind of center it there. And then clean my stamp. And then I want to make sure that, so I don't get any shadows, I want to kind of make sure it's good and dry. Then I will ink up "Your." And then I'm going to take the friend stamp and stamp the friend stamp underneath. All right, and then if you want, you can take that remaining little bubble piece, and if you wanted to, you could kind of adhere that right in place to get some more bubbles inside. Isn't that cute? What do you think? Yay, nay. You like this one? Hi, Julie, welcome. Thanks for jumping on today. It's nice to have you here. So isn't this cute? And you could change up the fruit. You could make it any flavor that you wanted. The strawberries, the cherries. The cherry would be super cute, right? Love the little cherries. Very, very fun project. All right. So let's move on to our second project. So I'm just going to kind of clean off my space a little bit here because I got a little adhesive on it. And just like that, the adhesive comes off. I love this mat. It's like the best. Oh, love it, love it. All right, so our second project, I focused more on the fruit in the, I'm looking for my project, here it is. I focused more on the fruit pieces that are in this bundle as opposed to the cola can. So I think this is just absolutely adorable. I love all the little fruits. If you remember a while back, we had the absolute cutest little fruit suite. It was a stamp and punch bundle, and there were like 3 or 4 little tiny fruit punches that went with the stamps and coordinating paper. I loved that paper. And when I saw this bundle, I was like, oh, it's a big version of the mini fruits because they were tiny. They were really little. So let's talk about how we're going to create this card. All right, so we're going to use a pool party card base that's the same size, but I accidentally cut it in the opposite direction because in the original card I did a side fold. But this one is a top fold, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. Your recipient won't mind. Then we're going to have a front layer that I also embossed. So this layer is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I embossed it with the quadrifoil embossing folder. This is so pretty. See the beautiful detail on this? And that will go on the front. Then I have a few things that I die cut. So I pre-die cut a large deckled circle, and these deckled circle dies are awesome. They're in the mini catalog, and I used like the 5th from the largest. And I cut this from vellum cardstock. So that's pre-die cut. And then I also pre-die cut a label, and for that I used the nested shapes dies. I use these a lot. They're kind of like a staple. And I die cut the 2nd from largest banner that I'm going to add the sentiment on. All right. Then you're going to want a couple pieces to create your fruit basket. So you're going to want a piece of basic white to stamp and color your fruit, and you're going to want a piece of crumb cake to create the fruit basket. So let's adhere this in place with some Stampin' Seal. And we'll just get this on the front here. And that's just going to be centered. That quadrifoil embossing folder is really, really pretty. And then we're going to take our circle and we're going to adhere it kind of offset a little bit to the front. But I'm not going to cut it quite yet. So I'm going to set these things aside. So now let's do a little bit of stamping. So we are going to use 2 colors of ink pad, Basic Gray and Poppy Parade, and then we're going to use a variety of Stampin' Blends to color our fruit. Now you can make the fruit whatever you would like, and depending on which fruit you make it will affect the colors that you use, but I just have a variety. I just reached for whatever I thought seemed cool for the different fruits, and we'll talk about that. So let's start by stamping our sentiment in our Poppy Parade. Best ever. And then we're going to stamp all of the fruit in basic gray. I wanted it just a little softer than black. So I put them all on one block so that I could stamp them all at once. But this could be a lemon or a lime. So I'm going to clean that, and then I'm going to stamp it a second time because I want a lemon and a lime. So I'm just going to clean it here and add that. And now we're going to do some coloring. One of the other benefits of this awesome mat is that you can color with your Stampin' Blends. And when you use your blends, you always want something to kind of be underneath so that your blends don't bleed through. And this works perfectly for that. So let's start with the lemon and the lime. So I'm going to pull out Daffodil Delight and some green. I have a couple different ones here. So we'll do the all of the foliage. I think let's do Granny Apple Green for all the foliage. So I'll just go and add a bit of color to all of these leaves. And I'm not doing anything fancy with the leaves. These are just, I'm not shading or anything. They're tiny. You can, if you would like, you can fuss. You can keep it simple. It's completely up to you. All right. So I wanted to give this ink just a second or so to dry. Now, when you do use the regular ink pads, you don't want to go over the ink a lot because it can get muddy. So this is just my light Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to color most of that. And then I'm just going to come in and give a little rim of the dark down here. And I need to replace my Daffodil Delight. And then I just take my light again and I just kind of blend that transition line. And then I stop and I let it dry. A common mistake when you use Stampin' Blends is that you go over it and blend it until you get it to look how you want it before it dries. And you don't always need to blend it as much as you think. As long as this paper stays wet, those colors will continue to bleed and blend. And you often don't need to blend it as much as you think. All right, so now let's go to our lime. I'm going to do kind of the same thing here. I'm going to come in and color. This is the dark Parakeet Party, which I'm adding for kind of the main color. And then I'm going to come in with my light. Oh, I meant to grab my light shaded spruce. I grabbed the dark. Ooh, this might be a little too dark. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll add just a tiny bit of it down there. And then this is Granny Apple. We'll create a little. And then come back in with your light color again. And sometimes I use the bullet end if there's a significant color transition, and I'll just kind of go over that. And now I'm just going to let that dry. All right. So now let's move on to our peach. This cute little peach. So for the peach, I have a couple different colors here. I have dark petal pink, calypso coral, and light pumpkin pie. I think maybe I'll do these two. I'll do the dark petal pink to color in the whole thing here. And you don't have to use the light and the darks of the same color. I often mix and match. And now I'm using my light calypso coral to add my shading here. Flirty Flamingo is also a good one to pair that might look nice with this. And then come back in with your light to kind of soften that edge and then let it dry. Now for cherries and strawberries, I have two sets of red here. I have Sweet Sorbet and I have Poppy Parade. So let's do Sweet Sorbet for the strawberry. This is the light. Is this light? It almost looks dark. And then if you want, you could come in with the dark and just add the little accents. You could pull in a different color, like maybe cherry would be nice. And then let's do our cherries. So I switched over to Poppy for the cherry. And then I'll just add a little, kind of using the design lines that the artist added. They kind of added these little guidelines for us. There we go. Aren't they cute and so easy? Hi, Chris, welcome. Thanks for joining. All right, so Facebook once again told me my video has ended, so let me get back there. It's always frustrating. I don't know why it's doing this now. I apologize. All right, so I'm back. I can see your comments. So now I'm going to take the coordinating dies and I'm going to die cut these pieces. So I'm going to take all the outline dies. There's outline dies to cut all these cute little fruits. Here's the strawberry and here's the lemon. So I'm going to add a little bit of 3M tape to hold these in place since I'm going to cut multiples at once. This tape is, I've had this for a really, really long time. It lasts forever because you can reuse and reuse. So when I'm done with these pieces, I just put them on the handle of my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I use them until they don't stick anymore, which is a really long time. You could also just use a regular Post-it note. So I'm going to put this through. I'll have to make a couple of passes. But here is the lemon. Look how absolutely adorable this is. It's so stinking cute. And I'm going to leave the tape right on that because I'm going to put it right down on the lime now. And so here's our strawberry and our peach. Is this not adorable? These are so cute. Oh my gosh. Now these dies, you can either cut out the fruit with die, like I did the lemons on the first project, or you can cut out the outline and use the stamp. So it gives you versatility and some leeway in how you would like to design, which is really nice. All right, so We'll cut the last ones here. We're almost done. I know we're almost out of time, but this comes together pretty quick. But I want to show you this fun little way to create this basket. All right, so this one is pretty much done, so I'm going to get rid of this piece. All right. So now let's look at how we put this all together. So let's bring our card base back in. We have all of our bits and pieces here except our basket. So the basket, I'm using this punch, and I'm just going to punch out a shape. I forget the name of this punch. Does anyone remember this, the name of this punch? I really like it. I think it's modern something. Oh, Facebook, stop. It kicked me out again. It keeps telling me that the video has ended. And I know that I'm still here because last week I kept asking and you kept letting me know I was. So I don't know why it's doing that. It's so frustrating. All right, I'm back. So can someone tell me what this punch is called? I forget what it's called. All right, so what I'm going to do to create the basket is I'm going to cut this not quite in half, but I'm going to leave myself maybe a 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to cut the top off. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to run it through this embossing folder. So let's go into the annual catalog. And so this embossing folder is found on page 169. It's right here. It's called Twisted Rope. It's very cool. And the punch is called, I don't think it's in here, is it? I forget what it's called. It's not in here. I think it was a carryover from the last catalog. So I'm going to emboss this. So run it through your Stampin' Cut and emboss machine. And now it looks like a basket. Isn't that cool? So, and then we're just going to fold it. And you can fold it before you emboss it if you want to. I just want to create a crease line there. All right, and then we're going to kind of give it a little bowl form. And now we're going to put this all together. So we're going to create our basket by putting a little strip of foam here in the center on the bottom of that folded piece, that little top that we folded back, because that's going to allow us to put fruit down inside our bowl, and it'll give it that little curved look. And I don't want anything to get stuck on that since it's in the middle of my surface. So there we go. So here we go. We're going to kind of offset our circle and add our fruit bowl like that. Isn't that cool? And then we're just going to tuck all these little fruits in there. So just put some adhesive and arrange them how you want. I'm going to kind of anchor the sides with the peach and the cherry. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the lemon and the strawberry so that they pop up a little bit. I was looking for my small ones. Here we go. Actually, maybe just my lemon, because then I'm going to adhere the, so we'll tuck the lemon in there like this. And I want all the colors to show, so I don't want to hide and cover anything up. Put the strawberry up here. And then last but not least, we're going to put the is going to go kind of down here like this. All right, so now we're going to put the adhesive on our vellum all behind this basket so that it doesn't really, we don't want it to show. Sometimes adhesive can show behind the vellum. So we're going to put it like this. And then we're going to flip this over and trim. And can you guys still hear me and see me? I want to make sure that I'm still live because I am just keep getting kicked off as soon as I reset my Facebook, it's kicking me off. Oh, thank you, Julie. It is the heartfelt hexagon punch. Yes. I knew what it was. And now I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of my label and add that here to the front. And I'm going to, you can either bring this off the edge and trim it, or you can put it right on the edge. It's up to you. I'm going to put it like this. And then I'm going to bring in some of my linen thread, and I'm going to tie a bow on the front of my little fruit bowl here. And you're ultimately going to have to put a little glue dot underneath it so that it doesn't slide down, because since it's angled, it wants to just slide down. So I'll show you how you fix that. If you're working on an angled surface, your bow is always going to want to slide down. So I take a glue dot and my take your pick tool, and one I'm going to cut in half because this knot is kind of small. So here's the half of my glue dot. I'm going to fold it in half so it's small, and I'm going to put it right underneath this knot. All right. Oops, there we go. And then the second one, I'm just going to take a full one and fold it in half. And I'm going to put this where I want it, slide it back up to where it belongs. And then underneath, you can just put a glue dot, and then now it will hold it in place. So now you don't have to worry about it sliding down that angled. Oh, thank you, Julie. I am live. Good. Oh, Facebook, stop doing this to me. And then the last thing we're going to do to the front is we're going to take some of our rhinestones and I'm going to color them. So I'm going to pull, you can pull any one of your reds. This one is the dark poppy, and I'm going to use the bullet tip, and I'm going to color. Now, over time, this can wear down your tip. I color my embellishments a lot. So you can either dab it like this, which will help, or just accept the fact that if you do it too much, it'll make your tip frayed, but I don't worry about it. Then I'm going to give these just a second to dry while we work on the inside. So let's go to the inside. And on this project, I added Birthday Wishes Friend. So here's our friend stamp, and let's pull out our birthday wishes, which we use on the last card. And then we're going to want our Poppy Parade ink. So let's add birthday wishes and friend. There we go. And then I thought it was cute to kind of carry the fruit theme to the inside. So I took this adorable little strawberry and my Versamark pad, because I wanted it to be really subtle and just kind of blend in. I didn't want it to pop out, and I just stamped this really cute little strawberry right there. And then as that dries, you'll notice it getting a little bit darker. And now our little gems should be dry. So let's go back to the front, and we can just kind of sprinkle these around our fruit. And you can put as few or as many as you would like. And there we go. I don't think I like that one there. Maybe up here. Ah, like that. There we go. What do you think? Isn't it adorable? All right, so let's put both our projects there. We have our extra bubbly and we have our best ever. So these are the two cards we made today. So what do you think of this bundle? Isn't it adorable? It's called Simply Sparkling. Simply Sparkling. Oh, thanks, Chris. I'm glad you like it. Does anyone have a favorite? Do you prefer the can or the little fruit bowl? Oh, Julie likes the colored rhinestones. Yes, any embellishment you can often color. Even if it's a colored embellishment, a lot of times you can take your Stampin' Blends and change the color. So it gives you so much more versatility to your your embellishments when you can take your Stampin' Blends and kind of create custom colors to whatever it is that you're using. Does anyone have a favorite? Which one? I don't know if there's a lot of lag. Oh, Chris likes the fruit basket card. It is really cute. Aren't those fruits cute, Chris? I love them. I love them. And I really like that the dies give you the opportunity to just die cut the actual fruit like I did here. Or you can color the fruit and you have the open die to be able to die cut the whole thing. I think that's really brilliant to give you that option. Does anyone else have a favorite? I'm just spinning, so I don't know if I'm missing comments or not. I hope not. I'm sorry, everyone. If I'm missing any of your comments, please know I'm not ignoring you. I think it's Facebook just being difficult. I really do. So I'm going to refresh one more time and see if I can get you back. All right, there you are. You're back. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Don't forget, if you're local, to RSVP for my upcoming classes. You can find more information on the events section of my blog at melsinkyfingers.com. There's several events there. RSVP, the next class is the 24th, is Valentine's. You're going to love the projects. You have two options. There's a 10 a.m. during the day or a 7 p.m. at night. And then following that on February 10th is game night. So fun. And it's always a theme and I always surprise you. So you're not going to want to miss that. And next Friday, I'm going to be live at 9 a.m. instead of 9 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. So please know that it's an early day next week, not an afternoon. So I'll post a reminder here on my page as the day gets closer, but I hope I see you next Friday morning. Have an amazing weekend. Enjoy the snow, stay warm, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.